Well, I'm just about done with a Suzuki Boulevard C50. I completely detailed it, and I mean everything. I'm just finishing up on the bottom, and I think I'm going to go over the white sidewalls, and that's it. I spent about 2 days on it, and that's not all day long, but the first day I spent a lot of hours on it, and the second day I did some, and then today, so it averages out about 2 days if I really stick with it. I mean cleaning everything, waxing it, getting it all done. I clean up underneath it. I go back in front of the back wheel, up in the fender there, get a little brush, clean that out, just extra stuff like that, because I want this as best as I can get it. And it's a 2012. I bought it in 2015, so my friend that passed away had it 3 years. Now it's 2018, and it's going on 3 years that I'll have it, so 6 years old, and it don't look bad at all. It looks like brand new. I mean everything. That detailing it, getting in there, all the nooks and crannies. Hey, I'm retired, I got the time, I like to do it. I get it done, then the Harley, it has to be done, because I want to get it out on the road this summer and everything. But there's something I found cleaning out under this front end that I've seen it before, and I thought, well, I'll get to it one of these times and clean it up. But I want to show underneath the front of the Suzuki Boulevard how that's made and what's happening with it. So if I go around the bike, I'm going to go on the other side and look up underneath it. Here in western Pennsylvania, so much rain. Oh man, it's going to rain I think the next 3 or 4 days. Pittsburgh's our biggest town. It's landslides. There's people they had to tell to leave their home. Just flooding. You can see the creek right down there below the tree, right in there. It comes down along the road there. It's completely filled. This out here, my yard there's filled. The neighbors is all filled down in here. It's just unreal, the rain we've had. But hey, it's getting spring, getting close. And if we look up under the bike, let me move the wheel. Now, we're looking at the radiator here, and right down below it, this bar that goes under here for the frame. There's 2 holes there. They had rubber plugs, so I pulled them out, and you can see I've already wire brushed this and sanded it, but that gets just like sandblasted from the grit off the road and I guess gravel and that. These have the fenders. They kind of remind you of the ones on the Honda Dreams that they used to have that had the flip fenders and that, like this. That's what we always called them, I guess, flip fenders. They were come down and then went out. Well, that you think would really take care of all of it. I mean, I think it's really to protect the radiator up here, because down here that dirt is going straight back here and it's hitting that bar that goes across. Now that's a heavy bar, it ain't gonna hurt it, but it just looks like crap. And I can feel it on my oil filter up in there. It's actually been hitting it. I can feel the grit on it. But I cleaned this and I looked, and you know, I always thought it was hitting that, and it was. So what I'm going to do is clean the plugs. I'm going to paint this first, put a coat of paint on it, then I'm going to do one other thing to it. I have no idea why these 2 holes and plugs are in there. Of course, these holes might be where it holds the frame when they make the motorcycle, so they use these holes and then just put rubber plugs in, which the rubber plugs don't hurt nothing. I've taken them out and cleaned them, and I'll put some protectant on them. But once I have this painted and it's dry, I mean this time of year, and we're getting another, I think at least 3 or 4 days of rain, I'll let this dry maybe a couple days, put the plugs in. This is about 1.25 inches round, this, or diameter on this pipe, this metal frame. I have about a 3/4 inch piece of tubing that I cut down the side and cut it the right length. What I'm going to do is put this over that, like that, put 2 pull ties here and 2 on this side when I'm all done, and that'll protect it. I mean, you know, you don't really have to. That pipe is so heavy, it's never going to go through it. It's just taking the surface off and that, and well, then, you know, you get some rust. But I like to keep mine as perfect as I can. So I'll put that over it, and it's the way it is it shouldn't hold water. I might cut a little bit off of this side and this side so no water goes in there and lays. I don't want water lay in there. So I might like cut it at an angle this way and the same on the other side, so it's just right here. There won't be no water really laying in there. But that ought to protect that pretty good. But I just happened to notice that the rest of it underneath, you can clean it, it's nice. But man, that is just like sandblasted from the wheel throwing the gravel back here. So I just wanted to show that, and somebody else wants to do theirs, they can do theirs. One last thing I'd like to mention about when I was doing this is when I came to the seats. I had the seats off, and I had a little spot on it, probably from my finger. It looked like oil, you know, and had a little mark on it, and I figured, oh, I'll find something. I have leather cleaner, 2 different kinds, in fact. And I'm like, I don't know if this is leather or some kind of vinyl stuff they use. I mean, I just don't know what it is. So when I had the seat off, I turned it over, and there's like, this goes up under the covering. I had a little space I could try something, and I've shown this before and talked about it being so good. On my last video I mentioned it, this F11, Formula 11 on eBay, and I ain't sponsored by them, or they don't give me nothing. Ron gave me this, a guy I met on YouTube, and I sprayed a little spot and wiped it. You know, you would never put Armor All or anything like that on here, it'd be too slick. So I did it underneath and I wiped it off. I just missed it, it wiped it. Looked like brand new, felt new. It didn't have no greasiness, no slip to it. So I sprayed it up on the side and tried it, and it worked great. So I did the whole seat, the back seat, and then the pad up on the back, and my bag. Well, I knew it would work on the bag, I'd used it. But the seat, and this says it's for leather vinyl and all these different things on the bottle, and I thought, I just wonder, misted it real light, wiped it with a clean soft cloth, like you'd buff wax and that, went over it. I said, wow, that thing looks so good. Made it like dark again, and just works great, fantastic. And all my cleaning underneath and that, when I clean, where I might use a toothbrush on it and really get at the grit underneath and that, like I always say, go to the dollar store and get awesome. A bottle of this works great, takes all that stuff off. Spray it up under there, take a toothbrush, it drips down, so what, I wipe it up later. And I can even wet paper towel and then wipe it. And those are 2 products I really like. But that Formula 11, I couldn't get over how that did that on that seat. Then when I'm doing it, I thought, well, I'm going to try these controls up here. The buttons you push and the thing for the turn signal and all that. So I went over them with that. Made them beautiful. Then I thought, I just wonder, these hand grips that are made, these are original, they have like where they're non-slip. And I thought, I wonder. So I went on the outside there and I put a little bit and rubbed it, tried it, didn't feel any difference. Still had that non-slip, made them look brand new. I mean, oh my. Went over them, just missed them real light and went over them. Fantastic. I mean, this stuff's amazing. It's just, like I said, you would never use Armor All or Son of a Gun or something like that, because you know that stuff is slippery and you don't want that slippery. And I did it on my I tried it on my floorboards. I missed it a little bit, took a brush, went over it, because I knew this stuff wasn't slippery. The same thing, I did one, I put my foot on it and felt it, doesn't slip at all. In fact, if anything, it grabs it because it's clean. Did my brake pedal, the shifter pedals, I have the toe and heel, did both of them, the other floorboard. Unbelievable. So I'll tell you, Ron really knew his stuff when he showed me that. So rain, I don't know. No riding for a while. Have a good day. And if you're in Florida like Brian Glenn, put on some riding when you're talking, and you know, unless it's you're showing something in the shop. If you're standing there talking, go out and ride for the rest of us so we can live through you and see some riding. Because this weather up Western Pennsylvania, I don't know when this is going to all dry up and everything. Oh my, but we get this every year, put up with it. Have a good day.